everyone, and thanks for tuning in today to see our latest in our series of Valentine's Day cards. Now, this set of Valentine's Day cards, for those of you that did not watch the other one, I wanted to give you a little bit of tutorial as to actually how we make them. So, because once you have the finished cards there, you're obviously looking at them and thinking, well, how did you print that properly? Or, you know, there's all those little tips and tricks that we all wish we kind of knew, and it helps us all to move forward and do better work. So, why not offer this, right? So to start with, when you are dealing with your papers, first off, in shrinking the papers, I've shrunk the papers by about a third, so about 35%, somewhere in there. So I've gone from what comes to you when you purchase the kit as a 12 by 12 paper. I've now shrunk it down to about an 8 by 8, and then I've used just this portion of it when I print it. Okay, so I'm working in Photoshop, but you don't need Photoshop. You can do this in Cricut Designs, their online program. You can do this in Silhouette's program. You can do this with a free graphics program called GIMP, which you can get from gimp.org from their website. There's all sorts of references out there. You can even do it in Microsoft Word or Mac Pages, where you shrink the item down and then you can print. Okay? So when we do print, this one is obvious because this card actually is oriented this way, where it kind of sits this way. And I'll show you another one in a second of the three to show you the little difference. But whenever you print it, you want to set it at the very bottom here. And the reason being is we're going to end up trimming off the sides and this bottom part. And then we fold the card over right at this line of where the pattern paper ends, and that's how you get your card. So when we trim this down, you'll see this is what you end up with. So that's what it looks like when that's trimmed off, okay? As well as the front piece. Now we fold it over right there, right at that seam, so that way we have white on the back, pattern on the front, and then you're left with this little bit extra. We simply cut that part off, and there you go. Simple as that. You have your card already pre-made. Now I'm printing on, again, for those of you with paper, I'm printing on an Epson matte presentation paper. Now, you don't have to buy necessarily the Epson brand, but we do recommend the Epson brand because we've tried so many papers and everything else. Even though you don't have an Epson printer, that doesn't matter. They're actually manufacturing that paper. And we find it gives you the most true-to-life colors. And true-to-life, I mean what it looks like on your screen, prints on your printer. Now, if you're having some trouble, this is a 44-pound paper, okay, or 165 GSM, depending on whether you're metric or imperial measurements. What we've also found is you do need to make a few adjustments to your printer, and there is a video in our how-to section here on our YouTube channel, and you can go and check that out, and it'll tell you exactly how to set up your printer. And once you set it up once with these little settings, next time you save those settings in your printer, and then next time you simply click on that My Best Print or whatever you want to call it, and you hit that thing, you press print, and away it goes, and you'll always get good prints. Okay? So, returning back to how we do this. So this card is obviously oriented in a horizontal fashion, so that was pretty easy, okay? For the cards that are more of a vertical card, okay, so this card goes this way, okay? When you place that piece of paper on your screen into your program, it's gonna end up looking like this, okay? So again, you want to turn it 90 degrees clockwise and set it at the bottom when you print. So this paper, when I printed it, came out like this. Okay, and the reason being is, again, we want that extra paper, we want that extra paper, and so that we can fold it over and away we go. Now, on these papers, you'll see there's a lot of extra white space where you think, well, gee, I could have put extra things in there. And I actually did when I was printing this one out. You'll see that when I go through some of the other things. Actually, it's right here. What you do is you place some of your elements on the paper as well, so that way you can print out these elements and not have too much paper waste, okay? Now, remember when you do this that you can't put anything in this little area because that, if we just kind of sort of match this up, in this area here, this is going to be the back part of your card that you're going to be folding over. So you're okay placing stuff there, you're okay placing stuff up here, that kind of stuff. but remember to leave that space right there. That's the only key to it. And then that way when you're utilizing more of your paper, which I did, this actually was printed on with this paper when I did it, you're using up more of your paper, and that's terrific because obviously that's kind of the key in this. But to create all 3 cards, as you'll see the 3 cards here in a second, all made up, to create those 3 cards, I only used 5 sheets of paper. And you're going to see some of them are a little more elaborate, some of them are a little simpler, that kind of stuff. But there really isn't, you're not using a lot of paper, and you're not using a lot of ink. It doesn't require a lot of ink in order to print these out. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial portion. Just give me a sec and I'll be back with the cards in a second here as finished cards. So here are the cards, finished and done. Look out. Now, I don't know about you, but I hope that your heart swells with a little bit of pride when you're finished your cards as well. You know, I don't have a big head. Some of you are probably looking at my cards and thinking, holy smokestacks, look at what this guy did. But hey, I'm in my own home. I don't have all the extra voices. I like them. I really think they turned out well. And to start off, if you're going to make these cards and follow along, which I hope you will, the cards are 4 1/4 inches wide, 5 1/2 inches tall. And then obviously this is the exact same size, just flipped on its side, right? So 5 1/2 wide and 4 1/4 tall. And secondly, we used our bundled petals and parasols collection for these cards. I wanted to show you that the kits are so versatile. This is not a Valentine's Day kit. That's not what it was made for. But you can obviously see how beautiful the cards are that you can make for this. And I'm going to show you each one individually and show you the key components that really lended itself to so many ideas here. Let's start off with this card here. This one was a little simpler in terms of its design and everything else. This is a simple background paper. This is right in the kit. You see all these flowers on here, all this stuff you get. Now here, this sentiment, delight in the beauty around you. Obviously that can mean many, many things, but in giving it as a Valentine's Day card, it has its own connotation, right? So what I've done, this sentiment comes in the Little Bits pack, the Little Bits Elements pack in Petals and Parasols, and I've layered that onto the paper first. I've put my paper down, resized it. Then I put this down because it's like a digital stamp. So you simply put it on there, and then I printed this as one, this background paper with, and which you probably saw in the early part of the video, with the stamp on it already. That just makes it really easy for you, gives it a nice professional finished look. Second, this back piece here, that is actually a border. I didn't embellish anything in here. All these roses, all the swirls, everything, it's nice and wide. I actually had to cut this one down. I shrunk it, plus had to cut some of it off. So it tells you how large it is. So you can make, like, and it's intended in case you're making scrapbook pages in a 12 by 12 size. We want you to be able to use that, right? So that's how large it comes to you. But look at this. I just simply set it up on some foam tape. The foam tape I have is a little bit, it's only about 1/8 of an inch thick, whereas my little foam squares are 1/4 of an inch. You know, so little precursor there, little off on the side track here. But I used foam tape to do this because I wanted that dimension in there and to give it that look. And then this rose cluster, again, the rose cluster comes to you exactly as you see here. I didn't do anything to it. I didn't add anything. I didn't take anything away from it. I print it, I cut it, that was it. And this I put up on the little foam squares so that it gave an even more dimension coming up. And then obviously we open it up. There's our inside to write our sentiment and things like that. So there's card number 1. Card number 2, let's go over this way here. This one is probably one of the favorites out of the 3 here because it is so pretty. This background paper, which is the red paper, which I showed you in the early part of the video, you can't really see much of it anymore, but it's a red floral paper. Again, comes right to you. Then this mat here, okay, so you can kind of see the dimension on these 4 items. So let's just take those away for a second. Wipe them out of your mind. The rest of what you see here with the butterfly and the music paper and the florals and all that stuff, that comes to you exactly like you see there. That is a mat. Look at what Mary Fran does for us. Like, how easy is that to create with? Like, even a guy like me can create with this. So this mat is just beautiful, and I liked it because it had the sentiment on here. It actually does have, if I was to lift this off, which I'm not gonna because it'll probably break on me, but there is actually the paper clip on there, like it's flattened on there just like the butterfly is and stuff like that. But I thought, what a cool idea in order to raise it up. So I printed, which you do get individually in the kit. I printed the paper clip, sized it so that it was the right size for it, and cut it out and put it up on some foam tape. Same thing with this dress form. It has a little post and a little stand that comes off the bottom. It's kind of hidden underneath my tag here, but just so you know. An individual item, and there's several of them in the kit in different colors in case you wanted to go to a different color palette. So I just put that up on some foam tape to give it some dimension. As well, the parasol. Again, there's several parasols. There's open ones, there's closed ones, there's different colors. This is the one that I thought coordinated the nicest with. I put it up on some of the foam squares, give it some real dimension, as I did with this tag as well. This tag comes to you exactly as you see here. The key is on it, the rose, the little writable area. I did nothing to this. That I didn't layer anything on it. That you print, cut, done. So these ones with the fine things in them, yes, we're lucky I have a Cricut. So I use the Cricut machine to cut it out, but you can certainly do this by hand or use an X-Acto knife or whatever method you like the best. But the reason I love this card is look at the simplicity of creating this. I print a background paper, I print out the mat, I add in a couple of elements, and I'm done. Look at how easy that is, but look at the results. Again, patting myself on the back a little bit, but I thought it turned out really well. Plus, you have this beautiful writable area, so no matter who it's for, you wanted a note to personalize it. Now this one obviously can be Valentine's, but it could be many other things. This could be a friendship card. This could be a card to your best friend, congratulating them on, you know, a new job, or going on vacation, like, you know, with the different, you know, elements that are used in here. There's all kinds of things you can do with that. And again, you open up the card because of how we folded it, and there you go for your sentiment inside. Lastly, the most intricate of the cards. It may not look like it at the onset, but here we go. I'll go slow so that you can see this. This I wanted to go to, again, you can see the three differences. Let me just flatten these out so that they show nicely for you. Look at the difference in color range that I created with. I created with this nice sage green, still the florals in it, but very kind of a subdued, more luxurious card. I went this way that is a little more shabby chic, a little more inviting, brighter, brilliant, like lots of white space. Then I went to a blue. There is so much offered in this kit. And again, I used the bundled version, so I used the 2 paper pack and, you know, all the coordinated products that go with it. But look at how much goes, like, look at the different variation that you can create in here. So in this particular card, I wanted to make something with a little more visual interest to it, do a little bit more to it, right? So first off, there's this front paper. Again, I just resized it and printed. Now this here with the lace border and this strip in here, that all comes to you as one piece, and that is a border. I could have taken and cut that out with my Cricut machine, and it would have looked stunning. Trust me, like I have done some of those things with the Cricut, and if you have a Silhouette or a Cricut or a Brother cut and scan, boy, do it, because the results are just outstanding. You'll love it. But the reason I didn't want to do this, that I layered this on top of my paper and printed it, is because I know there's lots of you out there that don't have the fortune of having one of those cutting machines. So I wanted you to see, even not using a cutting machine, placing it on this paper, printing it as one item, one image, look at the result that that gave. It's still equally as beautiful. This cluster here, again, comes to you, already done for you, right in the FQB. You just print, cut, and away you go. And I put that up on some foam tape just to give it a little bit of dimension. And then my tag here, memories are timeless treasures of the heart. Again, I shrunk that down so that it fit. I wanted a nice sentiment on there. And look at how well embellished this is. Now, it's a little small. Maybe it's not shown really well here. But there are roses up there. This is like so well done. And it's a little tag. Like the intricacies of the kit, when you open it up, you know, I sit beside Mary Fran all the time, but I still am stunned by how elaborate the things are that she creates and how distinct it is. Now, what I've done to create some interest is, now you flip, I've scored this, I've scored each of the papers right down basically where the red runs into the pink ribbon there. So we open this up, and there is a nice little cherish card. Again, this journal card is created for you. It's in the little bits. All you have to do is print it and cut it. It is that simple. That is created for you. Then I did another one. All right, I just folded over the tabs, made sure I only glued down the tabbed areas. Amour for love. Again, a journal card that is created for you. So the result, I can't even really pat myself on the back, because let's be honest. Look at all the creativity that Mary Fran had that made it so easy for me and so easy for you. You can make these stunning cards because she's done all the hard work for us. And I say a big thank you to Mary Fran for that. And then obviously it is a full card, so we open it up and can write inside. But I thought, you know, this would be a little nicer, more elaborate card in order to give someone, somebody special in your life. So there they are, folks. I hope that you like these cards, and I hope that you'll really give them a try. Let's open our minds creatively. That's what I'm going to be trying to do this year, is showing you how to use our kits in different ways. Like I said, this is not a Valentine's Day kit. This is intended for more just everyday use, a friendship, just the beauty of the roses. Maybe it's a garden thing, maybe it's an invitation, whatever. There is so many uses for the kits, and you can make such varied items from one kit, and that's what I'm hoping I'm showing you here. I hope you've liked the video. Please give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you thought of the cards. Let me know if you like the idea of this being the opening and all that kind of stuff. Or if I went through something too quickly and you kind of had a question, don't hesitate to leave me a question in that comments box below. Please subscribe to our new YouTube channel so that you'll be made aware of every time we have a new video that comes out. That is always handy to have, so that when you click on your YouTube, you'll see the little 1 or 2 or whatever it is in the side left panel beside our name, because you've subscribed to us, and that'll show you that there's new videos that are around. And as well, I hope that you'll stop by our store, have a look at our petals and parasols collection, see what creativity it sparks in you, because I know it will. Thanks again, and happy creating.